Morning, Tribes. If you guys haven't completely lost track, I know I have many times not known what day or date it is. Today is Sunday, May 31st, which if you're a calendar person, it is the 5th Sunday in the month of May. And those of you who've been around Tribes a while, you know anytime there's a 5th Sunday in a month, we pause our normal services and do what we call Serve Sunday, which is where we make a tangible impact in our community by partnering with other local organizations and serving outside of our four walls. And just to set that up and where we're going is a little unique this morning, and I'm super excited about it. But I wanted to ask maybe all the kids tuning in with their parents this morning one question. Have you ever been in a situation where your brother or your sister tattletales on you, right? Like they go to mom and they're saying, mommy, like this, you know, my sibling, my brother, my sister did this to me, or they make up a story even to put you on the spot. I want to share a quick passage of when that happened, even in Jesus' own disciples. In Matthew chapter 20, starting in verse 20, we read, "Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee," so that's James and John, they're the sons of Zebedee. So James and John's mom goes up to Jesus with her sons, and kneeling before him, she asked him for something. And he said to her, "What do you want?" She said to him, "Say that these two sons of mine are to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left, in your kingdom." And Jesus answered, "You don't know what you're asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I'm going to drink?" And they said to him, "We are able." And he said to them, "You will drink my cup, but to sit at my right hand and my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." And when the 10 heard of it, when the 10 other disciples heard what had happened, they were indignant. Indignant means really angry. They were really angry at the two brothers. But Jesus called to them and he said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you. Whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave, even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Jesus makes an incredible example out of this weird situation where James and John grab mom, they go tattletale to mom, and they're like, Jesus isn't letting us sit at his right hand when he becomes the king. And so their mom gets involved and all the other disciples get mad, and it's like this sibling rivalry going on. And Jesus pulls together the 12 and he's like, guys, the rulers of this world they want to have more power, more control, and they want to make everyone serve them. And it's not how my kingdom is designed. If you want to be great in my kingdom, if you want to be a true disciple, then make yourself a servant. And he even goes on to say the Son of Man, which is his word for himself. He said, "I came not to be served, but to serve and to give my life as a ransom for many." So what we do in Serve Sunday is we try to pause in order to focus on the thing that Jesus himself has called us to do, to be a servant. Each and every week, many of you are on our Serve team, and you might watch kids and Tribes Kids, or you might set up or tear down or greet or brew coffee. And while all of that is on hold during this unique season, we want to still be active in recognizing we don't just serve one another. We need to pause our normal services in order to make an impact in our community and be a servant of those who don't know Jesus, of those who are the least of these among us, the homeless, the widow, the orphan. And this morning, I'm excited to talk about how we can do just that. Throughout this Power of Pause series that we just finished up, we've been talking about how we can pause to embrace rhythms in our lives. And Serve Sunday is a practice. It's a rhythm that we can regularly engage in to cut out the noise, to cut out the routine, and to focus on those around us. So this morning, you're actually going to watch a couple of interviews. I'm going to interview a couple of our outreach partners, some great ministry opportunities and relationships we've built right here in our community just up the road in Denton. And you can hear about how you can get involved in those ministries. And you'll also get a couple of updates from some of our foreign missionaries that we support financially. And the aim of all of this, again, is to help you get engaged in ministries outside of our four walls. So I hope and pray you guys will head to tribes.church/Serve Sunday right after this service is over and figure out how you can get involved with your family tangibly this week. There's some simple and easy to engage in opportunities for you. But in a more long-term view, my hope and prayer is to introduce you to ways where you, even outside of Serve Sunday, you and your family could get involved by serving in these ministries on a regular basis. Because we have been called to not be served, but to serve and to give our lives for others. So continue as we do something unique, as we engage in these interviews, as we get updates from our missionaries, and I hope and pray God speaks to you through the tangible things that they're doing to impact their communities and how you get to be involved. Thanks for serving. Thank you for giving. Just a quick reminder, everything that is given to Tribes Church, 10% is taken and immediately goes out to help other missionaries, ministries outside of our four walls. So when you give, you are actually supporting the very ministries you're hearing from this morning and the missionaries around the globe that are taking the gospel to the least of these. So thank you for faithfully giving. You can continue to give online at tribes.church. Join with me in finding ways that we can serve and give to what God is doing outside of Tribes. Thanks so much for all you're doing, and I hope and pray that you enjoy these interviews. All right, Tribes, we have Grace Like Rain here on the call. Many of you guys know Susan, who her and Andrew have been a part of Tribes for almost since the beginning, probably a couple of years now. And then Michelle, who leads the way over at Grace Like Rain, are joining us. And if you guys would just kind of real quick, give us maybe an overview and the history and mission of what Grace Like Rain is all about.
All right. So Grace Like Rain we've been around since 2016, and our vision is to see families' lives transformed, breaking the cycle of poverty and homelessness. Really, the heart and the vision behind the organization came from seeing families struggling and seeing that a lot of their struggle is coming from not having community, not having a support system, similar to what we have within our church bodies, within Harvest, the community that we live in, our neighbors and friends and family that are supportive. So what we wanted to do is come alongside a family that was struggling, be the community for them, provide a coach and a case manager, and help them along the way. So what we do is holistic case management. We provide a long-term 1 to 2 year case management program for families that are struggling, helping them identify goals and then encouraging them to meet those goals, and addressing barriers such as housing, transportation, childcare, things that can keep them into the situations that they're in. We want to help them overcome those and walk alongside them to do that. We also operate a short-term shelter, emergency and transitional shelter for single moms and their kids. We have about 7 rooms there that we work with our families and transition them into housing through that. And we also have future plans of hopefully having an affordable housing community where our families can come and live on site and build community together for an affordable way, and then transition again through that case management program and accomplish those goals that they have.
That's awesome. So in hearing kind of you talk about it, Michelle, it sounds like really each family dynamic is unique, and each situation kind of causes your ministry to shift and help meet needs as they come up. Is that right? Like, it seems like each case is kind of unique.
Very much so. That is a lot of who we are, is individualized. We want to take each family and each family situations, and we want to help them walk through their situation and their goals and make goals specific to them. We don't want a cookie cutter, hey, you need to do this, 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 and this, because that might not be right for your family or my family, but the family across the street, it might be perfect for. So we want to set those individual goals for them.
That's so cool. You guys may not know this. Nicole signed me up recently to go deliver some meals, and it was so cool. Like, I've had meals at Grace Like Rain, and you guys have shared some of your heart and ministry before, but I almost got to like be a part of it behind the scenes, which is so fun. Just seeing you partner with a food outreach in Denton, another local ministry that's doing awesome things, and deliver meals to some families that you're providing shelter for at a local hotel. It was just, I don't know, it was so cool to see the tangible impact of the families you guys were helping and get to be a small part of it. And I just can only imagine how much complications come in and how many moving parts there are with each family that you guys take in.
Yeah, it's just a little quick story. And yesterday we were moving a new family into a home, and I haven't done that in a long time, but I was able to, we provide new kitchen stuff for each and every family, and a new mattress and all that kind of stuff for each family that moves into a home. And this sweet couple, just everything that we brought into the house. Oh my gosh, we have glasses. Oh my gosh, there's a mattress. And just the excitement and the joy that they experienced at things that we take for granted. Yeah. I haven't experienced that in a while, and it was amazing to get to walk through that with them and to see that gratitude and just over the little things.
Yeah, it's amazing, the things we take for granted. That's awesome. So one of the things I would love to hear is maybe a story, and I think you guys maybe brought a video just to share a story of life impacted by Grace Like Rain. Is that right?
Yeah, we felt like it would be, we could sit here for hours and share sweet success stories, but we felt like it would be more impactful if everyone could just hear from one of our clients. Her story is pretty amazing. Her name is Anna. And so we recorded her testimony and wanted to share it with you guys.
Awesome. So let's check out Anna's story.
Why does God allow storms in our lives? My family and I have suffered, cried, worried, stressed, lost, and just felt all in all defeated by life. In the midst of our pain, we found Grace Like Rain. Grace Like Rain is a Christian-based organization that helps the community in need. The presence of this community changed our lives forever. This is our story. My family and I have recently suffered from homelessness, death, destruction, and utter hopelessness. This was a very dark and scary time for us. We constantly fought, cried, worried, and feared what was to come. That was till we met Grace Like Rain. Feeling hopeless and alone, I searched desperately for help. I walked into the Salvation Army and was introduced to the Grace Like Rain program. Grace Like Rain was the light we needed to find our way through the darkness. We've received guidance, support, stability, community, love, but most importantly, we found our faith in God and humanity again. The help poured out from Grace Like Rain community seemed unreal. For example, we've been helped with housing, our first Christmas at home, our wedding, which we never thought we would ever have. It was truly a dream come true. And we've even been helped with a stable and reliable vehicle. There's so much more that they've done for us and for my family and I. The list goes on and on.
In Romans 8:28 it says, God promises to make something good out of the storm that brings devastation into your life. And that's what Grace Like Rain did. It got us out of the storm that we needed to get out of. When nobody else would help, Grace Like Rain was there. When you walk out of the storm, you won't be the same person when you walked in. And that's what the storm is all about. Thank you, Grace Like Rain.
Whenever I watch her story, just because she's the sweetest, and it's so fun just to see how her life has been totally transformed, but now she's able to give back to the ministry. She's come and helped us with many things. And we love that, if there's a family that we have helped and then they come back and they help and get involved with our ministry as well. We love that.
That kind of speaks to some of what you were saying earlier, Michelle, in wanting to provide a community. And like true community isn't just seasonal. And it's so cool to hear how even those who've been helped in the past come back or involved. It's almost like this. It's almost like its own church that you guys are providing. You're providing the body of Christ to these families that are struggling and in desperate need. It's just so cool to hear. I love it.
Well, we want family, and we have a hard time even saying clients because they're family to us.
Right.
That's part of who we are. So
that makes total sense. You're not just case workers, that's for sure.
No, not for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So for all those watching online, how could you use help from people at Tribes Church in this season? How could someone get connected to serving in their own time in the weeks and months ahead?
Well, volunteers make a huge impact on our ministry. We definitely could not continue without them, but it looks very different because of COVID. So we've had to kind of slow down some things. Obviously, we were doing some awesome life skills classes and art journaling and faith and finances, and we kind of had to stop doing that for a little bit, but we're going to slowly open that up again, and we can kind of inform you guys. Obviously, the numbers will be limited of volunteers and people attending, but something that we always need more of is coaches. And I don't want that term to scare people. Coaches are just people that are there to provide a support system. They can give resources, just provide community that the families don't have, and really just be a friend. And so it's really something that we could help anybody do and train and teach how to be a coach, but we're always in need of coaches, especially right now. If coaching is not your thing, we have many other opportunities. If you would go to gracelikegrainministries.org, there is a volunteer application on there that you can fill out, and we can kind of customize something for a volunteer to help them get plugged into an area that would fit them more personally. Another area is giving. We obviously need money to be able to continue to run the ministry. And so churches partner with us, and even families have become monthly partners. And so an easy way to do that is to go online and set up to do monthly giving. And even if it's $25 or $5,000, it doesn't matter the price, any bit that someone can give, we're so grateful for, because it really, really impacts our ministry in a positive way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And to make it like super simple, if you guys go to tribes.church/serve Sunday, we'll link directly to their website and have a quick write-up on how you can get involved today. And we'll keep that up in the weeks ahead. So if maybe God just lays this on your heart in a couple of weeks and you remember, oh yeah, I want to get involved in Grace Like Rain, please get connected to them online. Or, fortunately, you'll run into Susan at church or ask her to women's Bible study. And that's something that, because of our relationship with you, Susan, it's just been so awesome to see tangible needs come up. Like even after the IF conference, a lot of ladies were getting involved to make an impact in some needs that you guys had. And that's just such an awesome blessing. So thank you guys for all you're doing and the impact you're making on families in need in Denton in this season. It's such a unique time, and yet it's so cool to see you be the hands and feet of Jesus. I love it. All right, church family, we've got Jamie at Cumberland Children's Presbyterian Children's Home up in Denton on the video call here. And Jamie, thanks so much for joining in and doing this and just being willing to share some of what God is doing in your life and in your ministry in this season.
Sure. So I will say Cumberland, like many nonprofits, is doing some unprecedented things, and I think has been part of just a season that none of us could have predicted. We have actually been fully operational in every possible way throughout this whole thing. So in March, on March the 13th, our campus went on what's called essential protocols, where only the staff that are working directly with our youth were on campus, and all other activities moved into a virtual environment. We've even had some volunteers continue to engage with our campus virtually, which has been kind of interesting. But everything that we do has been just sort of amplified. Even our food costs associated with buying meat and pasta and things like that for 28 youth on any given day has been sort of changed by this whole process, because there are quantity restrictions and things like that when you go to Costco or Sam's to buy things. And so we've just had to get real creative about a lot of it. But one thing that's really interesting is that most of our youth don't really even understand fully what's going on. They're teenagers. So unless, at least at our house, my kids don't like to watch the news too much. And they don't really have access to social media and stuff. So they don't really get why we're all on lockdown. I'm sorry, I have family and dogs here with me as well. So
working from home is a joy, right?
That's okay. This is my real life. And so we've been doing that where our leadership staff is working remotely. We will continue to do that until June 1st. And then we're going to start going back out. So, but everything about our campus has kind of been operating, and the kids don't even seem to fully know why everybody is masked up and acting weird, because things have gone on as normal for them.
But what a blessing.
I think for our families, that is where we've seen a real significant shift. So over the months of March and April, we had moms that were limited hours or had lost their jobs as a result of this crisis. Most of them have returned to work at least some. but are continuing to struggle with consistent childcare and things like that. And so we really have had to come alongside the families in our mom's program in particular.
That's so cool. So for anyone who maybe, I know you got to come and introduce yourself back in the fall at one of our Serve Sundays. Maybe for anybody watching this morning who doesn't know all that Cumberland does, can you just give us a quick overview of all that's happening at the Children's Home? I know there's a ton of moving parts and a lot of different faces to the ministry.
Sure. So, and even our name is a little bit deceiving. So, we have been in operation since 1904, and we've been in operation in Denton since 1932. And essentially, in 1932 up until the mid 80s, we were what people would consider an orphanage, essentially, for people that were part of the Cumberland Presbyterian denomination, which is different than Presbyterian USA. So it's its own denomination, the Cumberland Presbyterian is. And so we were their orphanage for many years. And as child welfare kind of shifted away from church-based mission orphanages to like state-managed child welfare, we stood in that for the state of Texas. And so from 1980 until the early 2000s or mid 2000s, we serve youth who are in foster care. So we have 3 cottages, one that's an emergency shelter. That's kids that have been immediately removed from their homes by CPS for whatever concern of neglect. We have a cottage that's for kids that are working on life skills so that they can age out of the foster care system. Most of them are in high school and preparing for what life is going to look like after foster care. And then we have a cottage specifically for girls who are needing some additional treatment services, typically because of past suicidal ideations or behavioral issues, who typically come to us from more restrictive types of campuses, lockdown type, psychiatric lockdown type facilities, who are looking for a lesser restrictive environment so that they can start to move back into or start acclimating to teenage life without all of those restrictions in place, but still getting the counseling and the treatment that they really need. So everyone that lives with us gets case management and counseling and life skills and spiritual enrichment, all as part of the package. And essentially, we are their parents,
Right.
Or operating in that parental role for all of those 28 kids. And then in the mid 2000s, we opened a family residential program, which is a transitional housing for single parents. It can be moms, dads, or grandparents who are no longer in the shelters, are no longer homeless or something, but they need some additional support and structure to stabilize and move toward being self-sufficient. And so we let them live with us for 1 year, and then we partner with United Way of Denton County and NCTC, the local community college, to get them some individualized financial coaching and counseling, as well as some employment and job assistance. And so, as I mentioned, they're the group that has needed some really specific additional support during these quarantine times because, we have single moms in their houses with, in one case, 5 boys under the age of 12. And so she and her neighbors all need love. And so we are helping them and really have had some new partners step up to make sure that those moms are not experiencing food insecurity and they're able to get all the pull-ups that they need. And we're working to find them additional hours or job support and things like that.
Wow, it's amazing. Back in the fall when we packed some welcome kits, and some of you watching right now got to be a part of that. Brandon, Nicole, and I got to come deliver them. And Jamie, you gave us like the whole tour of the facility. And I can't tell you how many times I've driven on 35 right past Cumberland and just didn't even know what was all there. And hearing you talk about it is one thing, but I just encourage a lot of you online who are listening right now to get involved with such a great ministry like Cumberland. They are always in need of ongoing help and the amazing way that you can impact, like she said, these 28 kids and these families. Like there is multiple houses on their property. There's a playground. There's this community center where counseling takes place and education takes place and play therapy. It's just amazing to see all the moving parts that you guys are over and how you impact lives. So maybe Jamie, take just a minute and tell us, how could maybe an individual watching get involved with serving Cumberland in this season?
Sure. So we actually have moved our volunteer orientations online. The May orientation is going to take place right before this little segment airs, but we'll have one in mid-June as well that'll teach people what they would need to do to get involved with us if they want to volunteer or become a mentor. We're really looking to create some mentors for our moms in particular. And then for those kids that are focusing on life skills and getting ready to age out of foster care, we want all 12 of them to have a mentor as well. But if you don't have a lot of time or you're also stuck at home, there's even things you can do remotely to assist us, like administrative type things. And then we always, every month on social media and in our newsletter, we post the birthday card list.
Yes.
And that's a real easy way for people from their wherever you are to send a postcard or birthday card to those of us. And I actually want to share a story about that program that explains like how the ripple effect, I guess, of people's generosity and participation. So that program was started by a young lady who graduates from Fred Moore High School in Denton on May 23rd. And the whole program was started because she told her counselor that she at the time was turning 16 and had never gotten a birthday card and didn't understand why people thought birthday cards were a big deal. Like, why would anybody, like, birthday cards are a waste of money. They're stupid. I don't get it. But also I kind of wish I had gotten one because maybe it is cool and I just don't know.
Right.
And so they had this whole discussion about it. And she said, well, I would love to start getting some of those. And I feel like all the kids that live here would love to get those.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put out a call for her birthday card specifically. And it got kind of picked up by the news and it was like became this viral thing. And now we get sometimes as many as 100 birthday cards in a month for all of the people that live on our campus. And it was all because this one girl had stepped up in vulnerability and said, I don't get it. I don't understand why it's a big deal, but I also kind of want one.
Wow.
And so I recently asked her what it was that she is going to remember the most about her experience living with us. And she has overcome so much, like in terms of the number of placements that she's had in her young life, the number of places that she's lived, the kinds of things that she's experienced in her family. And in some of those placements and things like that is pretty horrifying. And she said the top 3 things that she learned from Cumberland were that relationships can matter and be not something that lets you down, that you can start something and finish it. So her example was the birthday card program and also getting her driver's license, which we helped her to do, that she thought was a really big deal.
That's awesome.
And then just that she could persevere to finish her degree. So statistically, most kids in foster care graduating high school is not a metric that a lot of them follow through on, and certainly not going beyond that. And she's going to go to a supervised independent living facility in Dallas that's going to help her to get a job and consider community college. And so
awesome.
Anybody that wants to get involved with us, whether it's sending a birthday card or packing one of those welcome boxes like your church did in December, or mentoring and going through all of it's a pretty extensive volunteer process to be able to become a mentor, but everybody that does that helps us to strengthen what our young people and the families in our program see as positive relationships. And if ever there was a ministry, that's kind of it. So
yes. And honestly, you talk about it, it is probably a challenging and an investment, right? It's a difficult thing to become a mentor, but what a reward it would be just for the local body of Christ, right? To step into the gap and love and serve these kids and come alongside you guys and helping. Going back to the birthday piece, I just want to give a quick little tip for all of you watching. If you just go to tribes.church/serve Sunday, there's some simple instructions on how you can do a birthday card. And so you can do that like today as a family. It's so easy to do, and what an impact it can have on one of these kiddos. I even think of like during this quarantine, so many parents who had kids that had a birthday during quarantine. They were trying to get creative. And I think my family's been on 7 or 8 birthday parades throughout the neighborhood, right? And it's like, that seems so sad for our kid to have to, I mean, at least they got to experience that, but they didn't get to have a birthday party. And how heartbreaking it is just to think that this girl was 16 before she really was loved and cherished the way that our kids probably feel most birthdays and every day of their life. And so what an impact something so simple like that could have. So just
and we do have a great community partner that helps us to get like birthday cake and stuff. So I do want your congregation to understand that we do have some partners that help us with that. Awesome. But the idea of a card for any season, birthday or graduation or Christmas or whatever, like it just seems like something I took for granted. Like I always got the birthday card with the $2 bill in it from my grandma, and then I would complain about how you couldn't spend a $2 bill anywhere. Yeah. And hearing this young lady talk about, she didn't even understand why people why there was homework at all, has really transformed what we do for birthday time and other celebrations.
Yeah, so from like simple time investment that the whole family can do to a more intensive mentoring commitment, man, God is doing amazing things through Cumberland, and we want to do everything we can to be a part. It's just such a blessing. Jamie, thanks for sharing.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Autry, missionary and pastor in the Dominican Republic. In the next couple of minutes, I'd like to tell you what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks there. We thank you. Because of your contribution and the contribution of others, in the last 6 weeks we have been able to take much needed food and resources to some very needy people. We are so grateful for your care of those less fortunate. The Dominican Republic is now in a time of much distress. As of the end of March till the 30th of May, we have been on complete quarantine and martial law. Most larger businesses, including all major hotels and resorts, have shut their doors and laid off most of their staff with little or no help. Our church and our people are located in the middle of the 80% of the country's tourism. There is no farming nor any other forms of income in this region. It is all directly or indirectly tied to this one source of income. Most of our people have been without any source of income and are desperate to the point of not even being able to afford even 70 cents for a 5-gallon bottle of water. This is Henry. He lives with his single mom who takes care of him and his grandmother. They are refugees from Venezuela, here in the Dominican Republic, trying to make a better life for themselves. Then, coronavirus. Henry's mom has no job, no support, and has the world on her shoulders. We have been able to help Henry and his family because of your generosity. This is the McKendy family. He moved to Punta Cana over 2 years ago and is currently training to be a church planner. Mackenzie speaks English, French, Spanish, and Creole. He recently lost his job, the sole income for his family, as a linguistics teacher at a school. Because you said yes, we have been able to help him and encourage his family. It is because of this that your contributions have been so helpful and encouraging. In the last 6 weeks, we have been able to help 86 families with food and supplies to get them through 2 weeks. Your giving has allowed us to feed small children that don't even understand what is going on right now. Each week that goes by, the needs tend to grow, and the people find themselves more desperate. We have been responding to this need and doing our best to find the resources and funds so that we might be able to be a blessing to the surrounding communities and the churches, especially their pastors. So, how can you help? We need fervent prayers. Would you commit to praying for us daily? Another thing you can do is you can give. It costs $75 to buy enough food and supplies to help a family of 4 for 2 weeks. Would you consider giving? Would you pray about bringing hope and blessing to someone you don't even know? Thirdly, you can share. Sharing this comes to no cost to you, and it could mean finding someone else that is willing to give. We have made it very easy for you to give. You can always give through your local church if they are partnered with us. You can send a check or money order to our mission board, Landmark Baptist Missions. Or you can give through PayPal. I want you to know that all the proceeds collected are going straight to help those in need. We as Americans have been blessed beyond anything that we could ever imagine. God is so good. I would ask that you would please pray for us, pray for the Dominican Republic, pray for those that are in need, that have lost their jobs and really are without any hope. And if the Lord would lead you, I would ask that you would give generously and help those that have so little. God bless you.
Magandang umaga
Good morning.
from the Philippines. We are so grateful for our tribes, for our times that we get to spend with you, and the times that you are spending with us, even though you physically can't be. We're so grateful. We cannot be doing the things we're doing to stay where we are. Strong, healthy still. We appreciate very much your praying for us. In Manila and the Philippines right now, things are very, very, very hard. We're in a total lockdown, so only one person can leave the house at a time. But we have it very good. We have a nice house that we can live in, with food and water and all those things. Not far from us are the other people. Those who are living in what you would consider maybe a slum. There are hundreds, thousands of those people very close to us. They are day workers for the most part, and there has been no work for 2 months. They've been completely without income, and there is a sense of desperation. What you are helping us to do, partly through the church that we serve, partly through the support you give us, is we've adopted a widow and her family, supply them with their daily needs as well as when she needs help. We're also helping with feeding programs. The Asian hospital that services a large COVID population is also sending all of their 30 to 40 of their workers to our church, where we have set up a dormitory with snacks and other things they can have in the evenings just to get away. While they cannot go home, they can come to the church. So thank you for helping us with that as well. This is not going to end soon for any of us. We're learning new ways of doing things in ministry. Rose, why don't you share with them a little bit about SLM?
Before the lockdown, I was able to visit the Aita Abelen. The Aita Abelen are a small minority group in the north, and they were scheduled to have their New Testament Bible dedicated in their language this coming June, but because of the pandemic, it has been postponed for we don't know when. And I was helping them with their songs, recording hymns, songs of praise in their language. And that was supposed to be in time for the dedication. So please pray for that. And also that the government help would reach them, because most of them are in the mountains. And the translator who is living there said that government aid has not reached the mountains. So we are communicating with him, with the Bible translator, to see how we can help.
There's a travel ban, so trucks with food, no deliveries of money or anything else can reach them. So please pray for the ITA. They're a group that we hope to be able to help out to get a little bit better transportation. And then we have the IOS, Institute for Orality Strategies, and the International Orality Network, two other things that we are doing here. The iOS ministry, we will have our next course, about 25 people in June. Dr. Tom Steffen, who is from Biola University, will be doing that now online with us, and we'll be having a Zoom course. So be praying for that. We'll update you a little bit more about that later. And then with the International Orality Network, I am now serving as the acting executive director of ION. And we are trying to, again, empower mission organizations and churches to use better oral strategies in what they do, like what we're doing right now, and yet using more of the arts that Rose works with, and helping them to use memory tools and all those things that we need to assist with. Many of our members around the world are grateful for your helping support ION in your prayers as well. One of those is in India, where Daniel Panraj, that we serve with on that group, is working with a group of 200,000 migrants who are stuck in the south in Chennai, trying to make their way back up towards Kolkata, about 1,000 miles away, and they're walking that whole distance because there's no transportation, they have no shelter, they have no food, so they're walking on train tracks to try to get home. Please be praying for our partners with ION. We're trying to assist in many, many ways. But mostly, we thank you for your love. Our love is with you. How God is growing us all right now with much more intensity in finding Him through the Word and through fellowship, even when it's on. God bless you all. We hope to see you again soon.
Blessings.
Thanks.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Church Online. Just a quick reminder again, tribes.church/Serve Sunday, where you can find more info about those ministries we talked about, some outreach opportunities for you to get connected to serve and to show the love of Jesus in our community in the week ahead. So jump on there, get involved, and check out some of those great organizations that we were able to highlight earlier. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Have a great week. God bless.